In this video, we're going to be talking about what it looks like when you add an MCP server to an AI agent. I already recorded the video and I'll put a link to it on what an MCP server is. It gives a nice description on what they are, what they can do, and I'll link that video. What I want to talk about right now is when you do attach the MCP server to an AI agent, what does it mean? What do you get? In this example, I have an n8n example, and we created a very, very simple AI agent. Okay, it's got a little chat front end over here, so I can chat with it. The AI agent has a model attached to it. The OpenAI chat model has a very simple memory attached to it. Memory allows it to remember what we're talking about, right? It keeps context in memory. And then we have a couple tools attached to it. In this case, we have an MCP server that will list back the Atlan MCP Server tools, and then another one that will allow them to be executed. Again, in this example, we're going to be attaching an MCP server, and it happens to be the Atlan MCP Server. Atlan is a data catalog / metadata lakehouse. If you'd like to learn more about it, I'll also give you links to the documentation on the Atlan MCP Server. It's here on the Atlan website, as well as their GitHub repository if you'd like to learn more information about how to implement it. At the end of the day, what we're technically doing is we are plugging in a data catalog into our agent. Let's do this one step at a time. I'm going to disconnect my tools. Let's just do something simple. Can you tell me how tall the Empire State Building is? And notice what's going on here. It's going to record in memory what was asked. It's going to speak to the model with the prompt. And then notice how it went back to the memory again. It's recording what the model said. So now it has that in context. And notice how it told me how tall the Empire State Building is. It's doing that because the model is educated on this information and it can return information about that. But watch this. Can you list for me all the Atlan tools you have? It's going to say, it can't. Let me check. One moment, please. And that's where it stops. It stops because it doesn't know. There are no tools attached to it from Atlan. We're going to fix that. So let's do that same example again. What we're going to do is we're going to add this MCP server into the mix. Let me double click into this. This MCP server node is set up to list tools only. That's why you see two. One set up for listing, one is set up for executing. There's no code involved. I just set it up, attached it to my system, and let's do this again. Can you please try that again? Now notice how it went to the MCP server list node, and it's going to return to me all of the Atlan MCP server tools. First of all, let's also look at the prompt. Can you please try that again? What is that? Well, it remembers what that was. It remembers what I previously asked because there's memory. There'll be more to that later on. So I asked it, can you try that again? And it said, sure, let me check. Ooh, this time I can check the tools and I can see that I have an MCP server that will list the Atlan tools. Let's also attach in the execute because we're going to be executing some of the tools in just a moment. So what we're going to do, let me go log into my Atlan instance so I can show you what's going on here. We are going to work with the account, table. What we're going to do is we're going to go and search for this. We're going to go and ask it for some details. We're going to update the description and the certificate status all through the MCP server. So the first thing we're going to do is, let's just start a brand new chat. And we're going to say, using your search tools, can you please return to me all the, let's do it like this, account tables. Now you'll see it's going to interact. Look, see now how it went to the execute this time? It found the search tool, talking to the model, executing it. Nice, nice. Now look, in the real world, trust me, I get it. There could be thousands of tables with the name account. So that is not what this is about. This is about taking an agent that previously couldn't do anything other than tell you how tall the Empire State Building is, and we plugged in a data catalog, and all of a sudden I'm searching a data catalog for information, and I didn't add any code whatsoever. So look, we got information. Now, I know which one we want to use, and for the interest of time, so we don't make this video too long, notice how it's bringing all the information back. Pretty cool, pretty cool. This is the one we want right here. If we come back over here, see how it says DBT Salesforce account? Right, DBT Salesforce, the account one right here. Okay, so now we're going to clear the chat, and we're gonna start again over here, and we're going to say using the following qualified name, please return to me all the details of the table. So here we go. We are looking for all the details about the table. It's going and using that qualified name, and it returned back to me all of the details about this table. Notice the user description is empty. Okay, the certificate status is draft, and that's the same thing that we see right in here right now. Again, real quick refresh, you can see exactly what's going on. No sneaky, right? The description is empty, right? There is nothing here. And look at that guy, it says draft. Let's make a change. Let's do a simple one. What are my certificate options? Okay, these are my options that I have. Great. Can you please update our table to verified? Okay, again, notice I said our table. Okay, not a problem. If I come over here, do a quick refresh, my table is now set to verified. That's pretty cool. Now watch this. Based on the information you know about our table, again, our table, not the qualified name or account. I'm just saying use the memory. Okay? Based on the information you know about our table, please create for me a proper user description. There we go. Okay? There we go. We've got a nice user description over here. All right. Great. What we can do now is update it. Now, if you'd like to proceed with updating the user description in the system or need further changes, let me know. It's talking to me. I'm talking to the model. Yes. Please update our table with this new description. What description? The one that's in memory. What table? The one that it knows about. Okay, notice how we had an error over here? That's okay. It talked to the system. It said, okay, what was the problem? I'll figure it out. We'll work together. Again, the model is talking to the MCP server, and everything's cool. Watch, let's go refresh this and take a look at our user description now. There we go. All updated from the MCP server. So what we did was we had an agent that really couldn't do too much before, and we plugged an MCP server into it. And this example happens to be a data catalog, the Atlan data catalog. And now we have all this new functionality. How could you just use this in the real world? Well, a data catalog has lots of metadata about your data. Maybe you're creating a workflow where you're going to search for data in a back-end database. And when the data is returned, you want to check to see if that data has PII information in it before you return the information. Or maybe you want to ask a question about the data and you need to find out who the owner is. Fine. Or maybe you're asking for information, but you don't understand what the information contains, right? Maybe you need to use a glossary term to learn more about it. You can do that with a data catalog. So by plugging in the Atlan MCP server, your agent now all of a sudden has all the tools from a data catalog. And as Atlan's MCP server gets richer and richer with tools, your agent automatically gets smarter and smarter because more tools are added. Again, I go through that whole detail in the other video I created around MCP servers. Hopefully you like this video. Maybe give it a shot. If you use Atlan, you might want to learn more about this. If you want to use MCP servers, I highly recommend it. You just plug these into your agents and you get all kinds of cool functionality. Hope you liked the video. I'll catch you later.